Hello everyone, it's Hope or Museshake here, and I want to talk to you guys about why I don't like Mario Odyssey. I've spent the past couple of weeks trying to work out what's wrong with me. Am I sick or unwell, or am I just not right in the head? Maybe I just don't have a soul? I'm not too sure, but I can tell you that despite everybody else loving it, I'm not really liking Super Mario Odyssey, and that's why my review has been so late, because when objectively a game is so well loved by everyone else, sometimes you have to take a step back and say, is this one me? Super Mario Odyssey is easily one of the most anticipated Switch titles, or video game titles in general, this year. It has been completely hyped at every single conference. It's got nothing but rave reviews every time someone has played it. People love watching it. The new hat mechanic with Cappy throwing hats and allowing you to capture things is universally sold as a great new thing in a great new world with a great old and beloved mascot, and yet here I am and I'm just not feeling it. So what Cappy allows you to do is basically throw your hat on a variety of different things and creatures, and you can take over them. It's a capture mechanic, and it is a very cool idea, I have to admit. It's hard to even talk about this mechanic without making it sound awesome. I mean, you can be a dinosaur, you can be a frog, hell, you can even be electricity. You can be whatever you want as long as you can throw your cap on it and it'll take it. And that makes the game sound cool, even to me, and I know I don't like it. You also explore new worlds, and they're all quite unique and interesting in their own way, and each one will generally revolve around having a couple of different creatures to capture to get you through the level. Once you capture the creature, you'll learn the new mechanics, and then you'll usually be able to see a fairly clear path of how to get through and get to where you need to go. And it's all just a little bit basic. After the first couple of levels, when I saw a new creature, instead of being excited for whatever new mechanics they will offer, I felt this sense of ugh and tedium, that I was going to have to learn some new basic controls for some new boring creature to get through some new boring world. And that's not a good feeling to have midway through a game that everybody else loves. Once you have gotten the hang of one of these new creatures, you'll probably never see it again, because Mario Odyssey is done with it and you should be too. It always feels like the abilities of these creatures, though simple, were always underexplored. You could get through the world with them, and there were definitely secrets to find, but they just did the same thing, and they felt like there could be really interesting ways to use this, but no encouragement to do so. Despite all the promise of exploration I saw from trailers and preview playthroughs, I don't think Mario Odyssey delivers on this at all. Whenever I would be encouraged to go and explore and think I was going to find something interesting and new, quite often I would be punished instead, with a silly death, and then be sent way back to wherever my previous checkpoint was. And the amount I died was just bizarre, because realistically, Mario Odyssey is really easy, and that's not a bad thing. For a game that's aimed at a wide range of audiences, it's really nice to have a low skill curve in that you can complete the game without too much difficulty, because that means everyone's got a chance of doing it. And then if you want to do some more challenging things, there are those on offer as well, but they're not compulsory, and that's not a bad thing, that's good. Where a lot of people get confused is that easy does not mean bad or not fun, and difficult and challenging does not necessarily mean more fun than something that's easy. Easy can still be very fun, but it has to find its fun in other ways, and those are often in fluidity or traversal or exploration and wonder, and for me, Mario Odyssey had pretty much none of this. The problem with dying a lot in an easy game is that your death never feels justified, and in Mario Odyssey this was definitely the case for me. So often I would die, but it wasn't because I felt like I'd done something wrong, and I feel like good games should always teach you something from death. You die, you understand why, and you learn, and hopefully you don't do it again. But in Mario Odyssey, the things I learnt were more inclined to maybe don't trust the camera so much, or the controls aren't as responsive as you think they are, which aren't good lessons. Rather than successfully teaching me to avoid death, Mario Odyssey taught me to be angry. A lot. Something else with Mario Odyssey which logically hits me as mechanically sound but doesn't work for me when I play the game is the sheer amount of power moons that can be found. Power moons are the game's main collectible, and they allow you to progress through worlds as well as just be fun things to collect, and they're scattered everywhere. There are about 1,000 power moons in this game to collect. You only need 150 to finish the main story, thank God, but you can keep collecting power moons to your heart's content. And the issue for me was my heart was very content not to collect any more than I absolutely had to. Power moons can be found in lots of different ways. Some of them will require just stomping on a shiny piece of ground, and others will require expert acrobatic feats to collect these moons. And the issue with this is because they are everywhere, and because you get the same reward for something little as you do for something big, there's never a sense of achievement when you earn a power moon. I'm not one to take a completionist route on most games anyway, unless I really love them, but this mechanic really deterred me from doing so because I felt like there was no significant reward to actually collecting these things. Some people will have the reward of collection itself and the self-achievement, but for me, it just felt like I can get this so much easier. Why? Now, I know I'm leaning very negatively in this review, but the thing with Mario Odyssey is it's not necessarily a bad game, it's just an incredibly okay one, and everyone else has put it on such a high pedestal that my criticism is all I can do to sort of explain where I'm coming from. It's an above average 3D platformer with some really cool ideas and environments that are ultimately just not very fleshed out, and it feels like there's no reward for doing anything. The hardest part about all this is I really can't explain why I'm one of the only people that seems to feel this way, but I am. So by the game's logic, I must be permanently wearing a hat, because Mario Odyssey just can't capture my attention or my heart. Thanks for watching everyone. If you want to read my full review, it's on critdamage.tv, and I'll see you next time on Crit Damage.